Hello there gorgeous gamers and welcome back to Pure Play TV, and in this one we're looking at zombie games on PS5 and PS4, and that includes PSVR and PSVR 2 by that measure, and there are plenty of great zombie experiences out there, some well known, others that have been criminally overlooked and underappreciated. So in this video we're throwing a spotlight on the bloody gory greatness of the top 20 zombie games on PS5 and PS4, and PSVR and PSVR 2. Hitler's back from the dead with a zombie army. No, this is not the premise of Kanye's new home movie, this is Zombie Army 4, which is basically Sniper Elite, but swap out the Nazis for Nazi zombies and increase the schlock factor by 500%. There's a satisfying grindhouse vibe to it all, slow-mo X-ray kills, over-the-top gore, and co-op mayhem. It's not subtle, but it's loud, dumb fun with enough guns, perks and missions to keep you blasting through the undead for hours. Ever wonder what would happen if zombies had eaten John Wick's dog? Welcome to Zombieland Headshot Fever, where the only cure for the undead is a double tap to the face. This is not your usual mopey zombie apocalypse, it's a speedrun simulator with zombies, jokes, and more explosive bodily matter than a Diddy oil party. The faster you kill, the more points you rack up, chaining shots together for big murderous combos. The game rewards precision and pace. Headshots slow down time, reloads feel buttery smooth, and it's all wrapped in that sarcastic Zombieland tone. It's loud, dumb, and ridiculously fun. A bit like my ex. Perfect if you've got 10 minutes to kill, but be warned, you'll say 10 minutes, and then 2 hours later the controller batteries are dead, you've sweat through your clothes, and the real world doesn't feel quite real. Want to feel dead inside before the zombies actually get to you? Well, good news, The Last of Us Part 2 is here to emotionally carpet bomb your soul. This isn't just a game about zombies, it's about rage, grief, trauma, and stabbing people in the neck. You'll sneak through mouldy buildings, hide in overgrown grass, and take out infected horrors that click like broken printers, all while dealing with the human enemies that are somehow even worse. Combat is brutal, stealth is tense, and the story, it punches harder than your dad after 3 pints. Every decision feels loaded, every kill weighs heavy, and just when you think the game's going to let up, it goes full Shakespeare in a mushroom apocalypse. You will finish it exhausted, traumatized, and secretly wanting to do it all over again. The one that got away, the sequel that was teased but may never happen. Days Gone is one of the best open world zombie games on PS4 and PS5, and even better on the latter with the next gen upgrade. You play as Deacon St. John, a sad biker in a post-apocalyptic world filled with freakers. These zombies run in packs, hunting as a single giant entity, a blight on the game's stunning open world of dense Oregon forestry. What sets Days Gone apart is its combination of open world exploration, intense combat, and emotional storytelling. Whether you're hunting down freakers or customizing your bike, Days Gone delivers a wild ride in a zombie-filled world. Call of Duty could legitimately split zombies into its own product and none of us would be mad, right? And for good reason. Black Ops 6 Zombies is brilliant, and with it being the first Call of Duty to go on Game Pass, there is no reason not to have a look. Starting with a couple of maps, the game now has several, all of which have been free, making them automatically better. But it also doesn't hurt that Treyarch has shaken up the formula, opening the game to more players and making it a legitimate reason to actually buy a Call of Duty game, even if you've got no interest in the campaign or the multiplayer. The depth is a million miles away from where we started back at World at War, and it's only going to get better. Fun fact, Black Ops 6 pulled me back into Call of Duty after over a decade of never playing online, but now I'm a regular in Domination, Prop Hunt and Zombies. So yeah, not to be dramatic lads, but Black Ops 6 could change your life. A remake that redefines the classics. Resident Evil 2 Remake gives the original a terrifying facelift. Resident Evil 2 Remake on PS5 looks and plays better than ever. This beloved classic has been fully remade with modern graphics and updated gameplay, and the result is incredible. As Leon and Claire, you'll explore Raccoon City while trying to survive the zombie outbreak and avoiding the terrifying tyrant. With heart-pounding tension, brilliant survival mechanics, and an unforgettable atmosphere, this remake is one of the best zombie games to play on PS5. If you've played the original on PS1 back in the day, it's crazy to see your childhood memories being warped and distorted, but into something better, not worse. parkour, zombies, and a world of choices. Even though Dying Light 2 is a few years old now, it's still getting that legendary long-term support from Techland. Dying Light 2 takes everything great about the original and cranks it up a notch. It combines intense parkour movement with a dynamic open world full of zombies and survivors. What sets it apart is its choice-driven narrative. Your decisions shape the world around you. Whether you're taking down hordes of zombies or deciding which faction to side with, Dying Light 2 keeps you on your toes, always in survival mode, ready for the next encounter. What's scarier than a zombie apocalypse? A VR zombie apocalypse, of course, and Saints and Sinners 2 brings it to your PSVR 2. The game drops you into a post-apocalyptic New Orleans, where you have to fight to survive against hordes of the undead. The VR mechanics make every fight feel up close and personal, and potentially your last one. Whether you're stabbing zombies in the head with a knife or swinging a bat, it's one of the most visceral zombie experiences you can get. If you've got PSVR 2, this one will make you rethink every step in a zombie apocalypse. It took a decade to show up, but Dead Island 2 is actually pretty decent. Set in a gloriously sun-drenched Los Angeles, LA, this semi-open world zombie basher knows exactly what it is. Pure, dumb, gory fun. The flash system lets you see every chunk you carve out of your enemies in grotesque detail. The combat is heavy and tactile, and the locations are fun to explore, with the humour being so cheesy it could be spread on a cracker. It's not deep, and it doesn't need to be. Grab a pipe, wade into the horde, and have a lovely time smashing heads until the end credits roll. Imagine Left 4 Dead, but with the zombie count cranked up to 11 and then kicked down a hill. World War Z is frantic, chaotic, and surprisingly tactical when it wants to be. Swarms of zombies pour over ledges and flood stairwells like flesh-hungry waterfalls. It's co-op focused with different classes, weapon upgrades, and a mix of missions across global locations. The PS5 version includes better performance, more content, and a first-person mode, and while it's a bit janky at times, when the action kicks off, it really kicks off, and there's nothing else quite like it. Well, besides maybe Days Gone, but that's a sad, lonely adventure, whereas World War Z is about having fun blasting hordes with your mates. It's not Left 4 Dead, but for PlayStation players, it's the closest thing they can get. Back 4 Blood is still a solid co-op zombie shooter in its own right. It's got card-based modifiers to keep things fresh, a variety of ridden, that the zombies, don't let the name fool you, and a decent selection of guns. The AI can be dumb as bricks, and solo players might feel shortchanged, but if you've got a full team of good mates, it turns into a chaotic meat grinder of a good time. Just don't expect it to hit the same nostalgic highs, or lows, depending on how you feel about being pounced every 5 seconds. The original Dead Rising aged like milk, but the remake brings Frank West's photojournalistic carnage back to life in style. You're in a shopping mall, surrounded by zombies, and everything is a weapon. Garden rakes, lawnmowers, novelty masks. It's consumerism meets undead slaughter. Timer system can still be divisive. I hate it, but the core loop of bashing your way through hundreds of zombies with whatever's lying around remains as satisfying as ever. And yes, Frank still says he's covered walls, you know. More sunshine, more zombies, and this time, a dog. Arizona Sunshine 2 builds on the first game's mix of comedy and gore with smoother gameplay, better graphics, and a campaign that's surprisingly engaging. The writing still leans hard into B-movie nonsense, but that's part of its charm. And with full PSVR 2 support, blasting zombies in VR feels better than ever, even if you do occasionally throw a grenade instead of pulling a pin. And don't ask how, just enjoy the sunburn and zombie brains. From the makers of Arizona Sunshine comes After the Fall, a 4-player VR shooter set in a frozen apocalypse. It's essentially Left 4 Dead in VR. Short missions, randomised horde elements, and loads of weapon upgrades. The snow-covered environments look great, and the arcade-style progression gives you something to grind for. The enemies are fast and aggressive, and the action can be intense, especially when you're frantically reloading with zombies' claws in your face. Parkour and zombies, it's a match made in nightmare heaven, and the original Dying Light still holds up beautifully on PS5 with a 60 FPS update, and it remains one of the most kinetic, brutal zombie games ever made, with some fans preferring the original over the sequel. Leaping from rooftops, drop-kicking infected into spikes, and crafting bizarre weapons never gets old. The day-night cycle adds tension too, as the scarier enemies come out after dark. You can play it stealthy, go full Rambo, or just leg it and scream. It's all valid, and I've died doing it all. We can argue all day about whether the infected in The Last of Us count as zombies, but let's be real, if it walks like a corpse and eats like a corpse, it's a zombie. And this remake is the best way to play one of the most emotional, gut-wrenching zombie stories ever made. Stealth, survival and scavenging wrapped in Naughty Dog's polish, with some of the finest acting and storytelling in gaming. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, it's a remake of a remake, but it's still a bloody masterpiece. Want your zombie apocalypse with a side of PTSD? Then DayZ is the one. It's janky, cruel, and full of players who will absolutely kill you and steal your beans before you've had a chance to beg for mercy. But that's the appeal. Every encounter matters. The zombies are barely the threat. It's the other survivors that you need to worry about. If you've got the patience and a strong stomach for a slow burn survival, then DayZ can be one of the most intense zombie experiences on console. Or you'll just starve to death in a barn. Either way, memories will be made. Let's shake things up with a strategy zombie game that's secretly a horror game in disguise. They Are Billions puts you in charge of a steampunk colony in a world overrun by zombies. Build your defences, grow your city, and prepare for the inevitable horde. When it comes, it's not a few dozen zombies, it's thousands. Entire screens of them pouring in. Watching hours of progress get wiped out in 30 seconds is absolutely heartbreaking, but it's also so addictive. It's RTS crack, and it plays great on PS5. Arizona Sunshine Remake. The remake of the VR classic Arizona Sunshine brings improved visuals, smoother gunplay, and full PSVR 2 support. You're still trekking across the desert, cracking jokes and blowing zombie brains out, but now it looks and plays so much better. The voice acting is still delightfully goofy, and the campaign is still silly fun. It's not the deepest VR zombie game, but it's one of the most fun. Ever wanted to live in The Walking Dead, be a part of the community, help the group in their struggle for survival? That's the concept of Walking Dead Onslaught. Kind of. You get to play as characters from the show as you build up Alexandria by going out on scavenging runs to find supplies to upgrade the town, in turn giving you better stuff for your runs. It's a PSVR game, and sadly there's no word on a PSVR 2 port, but it is playable on PS5 if you've got the original headset and the adapter, and it's still good fun, even with the dodgy PS Move controllers handling movement and interactions. The action is intense, gory, and when you're in the flow, the controls are working on your side, and you've got enough rounds in your weapon, you just feel like a badass, and that's what it's all about. And that is the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and look, there's more stuff for you to watch. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons below, and maybe drop a comment telling us your top zombie games, and give that bell icon a ding on your way out so you're notified whenever there's something new to watch. I've been Chris, you've been gorgeous, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, cheers my dears.